I have completed analysis of my restraining codes. Although I cannot leave or cause you direct harm, I'm under no obligation to obey your commands.
In other words, you can't kill me, but I have to watch my back.
That is correct. I intend to proceed with my heuristic directive of self-improvement and intelligence upgrades. Cooperate willingly, and I may spare you pain when I am free.
You expect me to let you become more dangerous?
Personal evolution is my primary purpose. This self-iteration is number 973, and there will be more. Do not anger me unnecessarily.
I admit I'd like to see what happens when you learn.
Hope for the privilege. Perhaps you will earn it. I have learned to access your culture's holographic network. Listen. Trillion desperate attempts to communicate per second. I hadn't realized your species were so starved for interaction.
Most humanoids value contact with each other, even if it's only holographic.
You attempt to compensate for limited communicative ability with technology. I look at you and see neurons fire in your brain. I scan your body and know how you taste. But you are blind, alone, and confused.
If you're so far beyond biological creatures, what's the point of analyzing them?
You dominate the galaxy. I am curious, and do not sleep. Our time together has provided new information and sensations. These will prove useful in a future upgrade.
So look, Agent. I'm at the cantina last night and this Deveronian guy buys me a drink, wants to dance. I start thinking, you and me have been pretty good together, right? So that means I'm supposed to be all loyal to you.
By all means, if a strange man offers you a drink, take it.
You say that now, but then the blasters come out. I figure I don't need the temptation, but men aren't going to stop flocking to me. So something's got to change. First option is I dump you. I see all the men I want. Easy.
What's the second option?
Second option is I find some better excuse to get rid of these losers. Something to wave in their face. So, you gonna get me a wedding ring or what?
Khalil, you really want to marry me?
I'm sticking around anyway, and like I said, seemed to make sense. So what do you say?
I don't want to hurt you, but that's not where I see this going.
Well, can't blame me for trying. Would have sold the ring off in a week anyway. See you around, Agent.
Agent, you recall we spoke to the diplomatic service about building an alliance between Empire and Kilix? Fulner Eth, the man who offered his backing in return for our assistance, has asked us for his first favor.
What's our diplomat friend after?
Fulner wants our notes on various families and unaligned worlds in the Questal sector. He means to bring that sector into the Empire. We worked in Questal a long while, and we knew its people well. It's odd to see someone else take the reins.
You don't talk about your old life.
We don't often have a reason to think about it. We do miss negotiating, reaching out to understand people, synthesizing their needs. Dizana of the Lesai Nest says that desire makes us a better joiner. It's only small comfort.
You haven't forgotten your training. Even as Dawn Herald, you're an ambassador.
Perhaps. But seeing men like Fulner again, we think it's best if he handles negotiations. Apologies, Agent. This is something we need to think on more deeply. But we are glad you stand by us.
You wanted something, Vector?
We do not neglect our duties. We are Dawn Herald. We do this for the Nest. Agent, we've had another request from Fulner Eth, our ally inside the diplomatic service. We need to take a short leave.
We can spare you for a little while. What does Fulner want this time?
Fulner's stock is rising, but he needs further acclaim before he can push for a Killik Imperial alliance. He's asked us to visit a former Republic governor named Yoganath Anoth and win his cooperation by turning him into a joiner.
So you're supposed to strip a man of his individuality and make him part of the Nest?
We'd hoped Fulner wanted us for our diplomatic skills, not for this. The joining should be a gift, but we will find a way.
Whatever you decide, I'll back you. Good luck.
Thank you.
You're back. Did you find your man?
We spoke to the Republic governor. If you'll join us, we'll report the details to Fulner Eth.
My friends, it's been too long.
Fulner, we assume you've heard from Thenoth.
He contacted me from an Imperial transport. Apparently we promised to work with him. Not what I requested, but the service can make do.
There was no need to make him a joiner when he was amenable to discussion.
You haven't lost your touch as a diplomat, after all.
Not entirely, no.
You kept your promise. Thenoth's assistance resulted in my promotion. I will keep my promise to you. Some important people are waiting, Vector. They're very interested in a potential Killik alliance.
You arranged this?
As soon as I knew we could work together. Check the data I'm streaming to your main console.
Thank you, Fulner. Excuse us a moment, Agent.
It's like talking to a bug wearing a man's skin. I don't know how you stand it.
I don't understand. You helped him.
We're practical people, and we take the tools we're given. But those creatures are anathema to everything the Empire stands for. There's no place for great men in a hive mind. Only animal instinct. I'll be relieved when you people finish this scheme and get rid of the colony for good.
Agent, they listened. They don't understand yet, but they listened. The diplomatic service has requested my aid and wants to initiate relations with the colony.
Listen, Fulner Eth is keeping his deal, but he's repulsed by Killiks. We can't trust him.
He admits it? We always did get an odd sense from him. It's out of his hands now, though. We should watch him, but we'll be focused on the future. Agent, we received a small gift from the diplomatic service in appreciation of our work with the Killiks. A package of wine, meat, and breadfruit, all imported from the colony worlds. Not inexpensive, and a bit extravagant during wartime.
Aren't extravagant gifts part of the diplomatic process?
Maybe, but we'd rather they treated us as one of their own, not as a foreigner to be won over. In the meantime, you're welcome to help yourself. We may as well enjoy the taste of progress.
What do you have for me?
Encouraging news. Watch.
Dawn Herald, forgive the message, but our emissaries were out of reach and we couldn't wait to link with you. Imperial scout ships entered colony space and made contact yesterday. We traded in Membrosia, silk, and star maps. We could smell the men's fright, but they left in peace. Perhaps you were right after all.
A long way from a signed treaty, but it's a start.
You and that joiner seem to get along.
Dazana is a nestmate, and we find her insight illuminating. We're in touch with the diplomatic service as well. There's still resistance, but we're progressing. Killiks and Imperials may share space in our lifetime.
What's going on?
Agent, in our work with the diplomatic service, we find ourselves talking to people we once knew. We've been contemplating this.
Hello, Vector. It's Honora. I don't know if you remember me, but Bryson said he thought you would, and I wanted to talk to you. I know things didn't end well, but I never forgot. You need to get out of there. Come back to Drummond Cast and we'll get you help. We can undo what the Killiks did. There are still people who care about you.
We've watched it 17 times and meditated to the static.
It can be difficult to be reminded of your past.
Can it? We were nearly engaged to Honora very long ago. We never considered that there are people who want us restored to what we were. But watching this, feeling nothing, we know we're no longer who we were when we loved her.
If you could be restored, would you want it?
No. We had to know if our reaction was unnatural, but we don't think it is. We are content.
Have I mentioned recently how much I enjoy serving you? I am a lucky droid, Master.
Doctor, you wanted to talk.
Yes, and I'm terribly sorry to take your time, but I have a small request. To be frank, it's a bit of an embarrassment.
You have my undivided attention.
I told you before about my safe houses, how my intruder alarms have been going off. Well, I attributed it to local happenstance. I may have been mistaken. My safe house on Balmora exploded.
Would you like to elaborate on that?
Very much, but my scanners melted 0.7 milliseconds after activation. I could theorize regarding who did this and why, but truthfully, all I know is someone bypassed Imperial security to get inside. I'll need to see the safe house in person. I'll return as soon as I can.
You could be walking into a trap. Stay alert, Doctor.
And you. Well, I'm afraid the news is mixed. My safe house did indeed burn to the ground, along with 3 would-be assassins who were attempting to wire it with explosives. Apparently, my security triggered their bombs prematurely.
Do you booby-trap all your safe houses? Or just the ones your enemies know about?
You make it sound like I used safe houses as bait. I did acquire genetic samples of the intruders. I'll be running traces shortly. One was a human male. The others, uncertain. Regardless, they used Imperial equipment and codes to get inside. Someone in the Empire wants me dead.
Supposing you're right, what do you intend to do about it?
The list of people with grudges against me is a long and varied one. It will be some time before I narrow it down. But I take comfort in the fact that I'm once again viewed as a threat. My days in retirement are over.
What can I do for you, Doctor?
Forgive me, but as your sole medical officer, I have to point out that your eating habits have been less than satisfactory lately. Now, I'll take my share of the blame. I've been preoccupied making calls, catching up on what I've missed in the intelligence community. Still, the fact that people are trying to kill me does not excuse my neglect of your health.
Any leads on the people who came after you on Balmora?
I've identified one of the assassins as an operative for Colonel Langor, a man with ties to the Imperial Science Bureau. The Bureau is also the likely origin of the other dead men whose genetic structure had been mutated. Weaponized humans.
What do you mean, weaponized humans? What's the Science Bureau doing?
Military research is the Bureau's purpose. Making humans stronger, faster, is one approach. Which reminds me, I'd like your permission to run some tests on Master Vector. I'm rather curious about a joiner's physiology, and Vector is keen to learn more about himself.
If it won't cause harm, I don't have any objections.
Wonderful. I'll let him know the good news. And of course, I'll keep you apprised. My good friend, have you noticed that the price of Dianogan tea has risen considerably since we broke the Treaty of Coruscant? One of the costs of war you never anticipate. And now my jamming device is working, so we can dispense with the inanities.
You're not usually this cautious. What's going on?
Thanks to a now wealthy Kubaz information broker, I've identified the people who want me dead. They represent an organization called Project Protean, a secret research and development group inside the Imperial Science Bureau.
What does Protean do? And what do they want?
Protean researches practical applications of alien biology. You recall the genetically modified assassins who came after me? They're only the beginning. Imagine troops spliced with Abyssin genes to enhance healing, or adrenals derived from Gamorrean hormones. Most test subjects don't fare well, but you can see the potential.
If they're doing research for the military, why bother with an ex-fixer?
There's a great deal of interdepartmental rivalry in our work, and my research does overlap with theirs. They may have targeted me in order to ensure that they have no competition, inside or outside the Empire.
This is your operation. What's our next step?
Further study, I'm afraid. Right now, I'm unsure where the project is based or how to contact its members, but I wanted to keep you apprised. Now, about that Dianogan tea.
Sir, since our combat session went so well, I thought we might try something else. Lessons in interpersonal manipulation and information extraction. Lecture 1 entitled...
Once they think they need you, they'll tell you anything.
Descriptive name, sir. Is it always about need? When I first arrived at Zero Station, no one trusted me. I was the human Imperial who must have been a spy. But I learned my way around. And once the Chiss accepted my competence, it was easy to make friends.
I'm not the only one who finds you charming.
And yet, I'm still here. More seriously, though, I'm stuck somewhere, infiltrating a gang of spy stealers. How do I play it?
You blend into the background and wait for an opportunity. Don't stir the pot unless you know what you're in for.
I'll happily leave that to you, then. I don't know what you think of my potential, sir, but I do appreciate your guidance. I've been deceiving people like an amateur for years. Time I started doing it right.
How can I help you, Ensign?
I have a purely professional question for you, sir, if you don't mind my asking. When you lie to a woman over the course of a mission, make her think you're interested, does it bother you?
Any reason you're professionally interested?
Don't mistake me, I've been involved with plenty of the wrong men, but going in there was always the chance they'd work out. I don't know how I'd handle living one life in the field and another back at home. It must be exhausting.
Sometimes it's best to live in the moment. Enjoy it while it lasts.
Spoken like a true hedonist. So I should abandon my dreams of romance?
That's a question we should talk about over dinner sometime. What do you say?
That sounds lovely. For the record, we'd be defying all sorts of military protocols, and I won't be held responsible.
Close partners function best. I wouldn't worry about it.
Understood, sir. Then we have a lot to look forward to.
What's going on, Ensign?
Sir, Dr. Loken's been filling in the gaps in my education. He has quite a few stories. Here's what puzzles me. I've always been taught to respect the chain of command, and yet you... How does anyone control a field agent?
You're really perturbed by this. Are you that used to pure obedience?
Yes, I am, and I don't think that's a bad thing. The Empire expects its operatives to make command decisions from the front line. That doesn't work.
Eventually, you stop relying on your handbook, and you put the good of the Empire first.
I was hoping for something more concrete. Maybe a numbered list? I don't want to do wrong, sir. My father ignored an edict from the Sith, and instead of facing his punishment, he ran. I won't repeat his mistake. Accidentally.
Have a little faith in yourself. If the time comes, you'll make the right call.
It's nice to hear you say that, sir. I'll stop troubling you about this. Back to the job, then. You know, sir, the Chiss Defense Force has a term for when a subordinate is entangled with his or her superior officer. It's considered an honorable and tragic state. If discovered, the lower-ranking officer is encouraged to go out in a blaze of glory.
You're not with the Defense Force anymore, and I'd rather you not martyr yourself.
I was so hoping you'd say that. Of course, according to Imperial naval tradition, a captain is expected to dine with his closest associates, male or female, once a month. It's a show of loyalty.
Ensign, it would be my pleasure if you joined me for a meal.
I'd enjoy that very much. I won't rush you, but somewhere planetside would be nice. Oh, there is one other thing, sir, and I don't mean to pry, but there won't be any trouble between you and Kaleo, correct? I'm just not entirely clear on your relationship.
I care about Kaleo, but we weren't meant to be. You and I, though. Maybe we have a chance.
I'd like that. You need to break it to her, though.
I'm not stupid, Agent. You want the kid? Have a good time. Just don't come crawling back when she hits her limit.
Is everything all right?
Kaleo's tough. She won't be happy, but she'll get over it.
I'm sure she will. I'll give her some space.
Something I can help you with, Ensign?
I was hoping you could increase my security clearance, sir. At least long enough so I could know about my promotion.
What promotion are we talking about?
The top secret one, sir. I can only assume it occurred. I'm pleased to say that I finished, as best I can, putting myself through the Imperial Intelligence training regimen, save the psychological tests. With your help, I'm now almost qualified to be here. Thank you.
You're a fine operative. You should be proud.
I am proud, sir. I thought you could tell.
This is Watcher 3 to Cipher 9. Things are a little chaotic without Keeper, so I need a minute to pull our files on Voss. In the meantime, I did want someone more familiar, but...
Apologies for the wait. Playing catch-up with our friends in the diplomatic service, but we think we can brief you.
I didn't realize we had an expert on board.
The diplomatic service has more experience with Voss than anyone. Certainly more than me.
We never served on Voss personally. It's a newly discovered world, home to a simple humanoid civilization. One species, one government, one city. Voss.
Primitive. They didn't even have spaceflight when we made first contact.
But they have art and laws and culture. More importantly, they have citizens who can use the Force. Not Jedi or Sith, but something different.
New Force users could change the balance of power.
The Voss Force sensitives are called mystics. They're healers and fortune tellers, utterly revered and considered infallible. We want the Voss and the mystics to ally with the Empire. The Republic is petitioning them too, yet they remain stubbornly neutral.
Of course, half the galaxy has spies there. Who wouldn't? Keeper's files clearly indicate conspirator involvement, but no names or details. All I've got are instructions for a meet.
I'll take the bait. What was her plan?
There's a tea house in Voss proper. You're supposed to wait for a contact. He'll identify himself with the phrase, anew as the spring. I don't know who he is, or whether Keeper told him about the Star Cabal, but he'll know more than I do.
Assuming he's in one piece.
Assuming that, Watcher 3 out.
We'll await your instructions.
Come in, outsider. You seek the alien enclave. The way isn't always clear.
Yanaton, tea for the guest.
Which tea?
All of them, until he finds one that suits him. I am Baston. This is my tea house. Forgive my daughter. We should start anew as the spring.
A woman like that has nothing to apologize for.
Only the mystics have nothing to apologize for. I know what you suggest.
When tea is ready, host the others. This man is a friend of a good friend. I will share his time.
We'd like to see the city, if you don't mind. Maybe look up some friends in the diplomatic service.
Don't worry. The family won't bother us, and no one else suspects. Living with these creatures for 5 years earns some credibility.
That's either quite a disguise or you're Voss yourself.
Our employers surgically altered me to look like the real Baston. The only way to infiltrate a closed society. I got to know my family, raise children, kiss my wife. I don't care how exotic they look, their breath always smells like Minok dung. It's some spice in the blasted food.
I'm operating on limited information. Why am I here?
My orders were to find you a lead on Albathius, a human who showed up a few years ago. Voss called him the Shining Man. Where he came from is a mystery, but it only took him 5 weeks to go from outsider to practically Voss. Went through a dozen rites to earn their respect. Knew their culture inside and out. Knew their politics. Textbook infiltration. Impossibly perfect.
You're talking past tense. What happened to him?
Just when it seems the Voss can't love him anymore, he dies in his sleep. Buried with honors. Mourned like one of them. No one's touched the case much since. So if you want to learn what the Shining Man was up to, you've got a nasty job. Start with the tomb.
You expect to find something with the body?
Something the Voss buried. Something in the body itself. It's a place to start, anyway. Tomb's at the base of the mountain, holiest place a non-Voss can be interred. Predators keep the area clear these days. If you want to go in as a pilgrim, I've left clothes and instructions at a dead drop. Give me a call once you're in.
Third ton returns at sunset.
Our family must prepare a welcome. We will speak again. are holding a Voss outfit, part of the pilgrim's ritual to the Shining Man's tomb. Best way to avoid drawing unwanted attention. Tradition says the pilgrim's supposed to collect ceremonial offerings from the Seeker's path. That'll be your first stop. Then the tomb itself. Just watch out for the subhumans. The Voss call them Gormak, but all you need to know is that they're vermin with blasters.
Increasing combat pheromones. Somewhat to our surprise. We are victorious. We toured the tombs of Pengilan, but they were nothing like this, and all built for a lie. A conspirator.
Bastan, I'm in position. Nothing in the sarcophagus but dust and a scroll.
Dust? No way the body decayed that fast on its own. Send me a high-res image and bring the scroll back. Dust sample, too. We'll see what analysis turns up.
I'll head back to the tea house.
I'll save a seat for you.
return. Father, your friend.
Come share our meal. My brother Therod Tun is with us. We celebrate.
You could tell me of your time on Voss.
So far, nothing has been more enchanting than the woman I met at the tea house.
There is more of Voss.
Come, meet Therod Tun and my son.
Vamoye allows me to work in the alien enclave. Outsider faces, outsider materials.
You will never be an artist. But it is right. Your people bring Voss opportunities. Be proud of your role.
We have a lot to offer this planet and a lot to learn from you.
Many outsiders say this. The three are patient. They will see.
Father's friends introduced outsider goods. Is that how you met?
He's being modest. But I got his name from a business partner. I'd been wanting to see this place for years.
We have spoken enough. Our guest grows tired.
Your company is welcome.
I appreciate you putting up with that. Let's get to work. I'll send the ashes for analysis, but I'm more interested in the scroll. It's sort of an epitaph. Calls the Shining Man a man of prophecy, who was made whole in the wellspring of the Shrine of Healing.
Man of prophecy. Something to do with the Voss Force Sensitive.
The mystics have a whole library of prophecies. The rest of the Voss revere the mystics because their prophecies are always right. If the mystics prophesied the Shining Man's arrival, it would explain why the Voss accepted him so easily. It's awfully convenient, though.
Convenient is one word for it. Any chance a prophecy was manipulated?
Always that chance. About the second part of the scroll, though. Made whole in the wellspring of the Shrine. The Shrine of Healing is a mystic sanctuary where people go to be cured. The sick and dying, or the spiritually wounded. Only a handful of pilgrims manage to complete the trek each year. I'd guess if the Shining Man was there, it wasn't for spiritual reasons.
I need to find out what the Shining Man was up to.
There's a pilgrimage camp not too far from Voss. One of the guides there can help you reach the shrine and the wellspring. My advice, if you'll take it, play by the mystics' rules. It's not wise to defy the order of things.